work session. Who was that with?
Kravick,
that's right.
Kravick Drive.
And do we have anything scheduled? Nick? You got on mute, Nick.
Your mic's not working, Nick.
It says it's muted, I think.
we might be looking up what's on the work session if we have anything.
It says no work sessions are scheduled.
Okay. All right. Hi, Leif. Leif just joined us. Thank you. We have, can I have an approval, motion for the approval of the minutes?
I'll move, Steve.
Steve?
I'll second.
And just so everyone is aware, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the town's webpage. If you're not speaking, if you can mute your mics, that would be appreciated.
All in favor of the motion to approve? Nice stuff.
Steve, aye.
Joe, aye. Joe, aye. Nathan, aye.
Doug, aye.
Peter, aye.
Leif, aye.
Doug. And Leif. Okay, unanimous. Dig safely.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Was by
Steve?
Steve, second by?
Leif.
Thank you, Leif.
Okay, the dig safely, Stephanie, you want to add anything to this? Stephanie, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just have a loud baby in the background. If Joe Cavender is present and wants to go over all of the changes to the plans and just introduce the planting scheme, that would be a great place to start.
Sure. Yeah, I just joined on here. Good evening, everyone. So do we need the backstory to this? And Kevin, are you on with me, Kevin Hopper?
Yeah, I'm here, Joe.
Okay, great. So I'm not sure that we need to summarize. I think everyone's familiar with the situation. Kevin, I'll open it to you if you would like to say anything about the backstory to this planting bed and substantial planting we're adding to the front of your property and building.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of a review we need. I mean, I guess we can get there if we have further discussion. I mean, again, we're trying to address the issue that the town brought up relative to the tree that was intended to be saved, and then due to which we reviewed several times, the tree was unable to be saved. We had an arborist work through with the town. The end result is that we wanted the direction provided was see what we could come up with some type of landscape feature. I think we've been through this a few times. I know Joe sent some updates, giving the circumstance of where we are on the timeline and schedule to try to get this project so that we can wrap it up, I guess, so to speak, since we've been in our building for over a year and a half now. We'd really like to just hopefully we put a lot of effort into making a visually aesthetic roadside planting bed across the front, which Joe can certainly do to address those issues. And I mean, that's pretty much the feedback that we got was we wanted to have some type of complement along the road that would equally aesthetic the building, which I think everybody could attest is a really beautiful building, and we're really happy with the outcome of it. But we're just trying to get a few of these things buttoned up, and this is essentially one of the last pieces to doing so.
Okay. Did you put the plan up? I'm not seeing anything on my screen here.
I do have the plan up. Is everybody able to see that?
I can see
Yes.
it, Emily.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't here, but that could be
Yes.
mine.
And I'm going to let Joe kind of detail what's in the plan, just because
Sure.
I mean he can certainly do that better and more technical than I can.
Could someone just describe the plantings, their height at installation, and their projected mature height?
Sure. The ornamental specimen trees are installed currently. this was the basis for our planting bed addition. Supplement to that includes a nannyberry or double file viburnum, similar shrub in the center of that bed, indicated by the green shrubberies. Yes, right where your cursor is. Thank you. In front of that, and this is a tiered planting approach with the highest plants in the back of the bed underneath the previously installed ornamental trees. And then we supplement that with 9 barks on either side of the bed that anchor it, and grasses in front of that to provide some visual contrast and some winter interest as well. The 9 barks, we received a comment that you'd like some more substantial, so the 9 barks and the nannyberry have a woody structure to them, which will provide visual interest in the winter and some grounding to the bed, so it's not a bed of simple herbaceous and perennial material just floating in the middle of nowhere. In the foreground, which will be flowering all season long, are lilies and lavender. So to supplement that, the 9 bark and nannyberry will be flowering simultaneously throughout the early spring, and 9 bark or nannyberry rather into the fall, the lavender and lilies. So we feel it's a dynamic bed. It's substantial in the fact that it flowers well and often throughout the growing season, and it's anchored in the winter and non-leafing and flowering season by substantial woody shrubberies that will max out around 5 feet tall, anchoring the bed. Upon installation, they're going to be our standard number 5 container plants for the 9 barks and nannyberries, number 3 to number 5 grasses, and 1 gallon lilies and lavenders.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
So I have a quick question. So how, and I don't pretend to be an arborist by any means, but the plantings that are there, how deer resistant are they? I tend to think that lilies are just a feeding ground for deer.
No, not really. No, they're deer resistant, lilies themselves. Perhaps you're thinking of hostas, which are a deer favorite. But the 9 barks, they're deer resistant. Nannyberries, completely deer resistant, as well as the grasses.
Right. Okay. Right, yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna read a motion to approve of the revised planning plan as presented, being an amendment and an addition to the existing site plan approval for the site, with the finding that the board accepts this revised planning plan as an acceptable solution to the gap left by the large tree that was removed during the construction of the project by violation of its site plan approved in place. Except as specifically modified here in the site plan approval for this project is not otherwise modified, and this approval is for plans and other submitted documents, site plan documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant, and requires that all of the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for the certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. Any proposed changes, additions, deletions, scope of work, or materials from the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to the further site plan review pursuant to Town of DeWitt Code Section 192-122. May I have a motion, please?
Sorry, quick question, Peter. Is there enough time?
I lost that.
Can you hear me?
No, well,
Yeah.
something. Did everybody hear what he said?
Try again.
All right, I'll try again. Is there enough planting season this fall to get this installed?
Our specifications allow a planting period up to November 15th. Kevin Hopper will have to coordinate, the owner will have to coordinate with his contractor and schedule the installation. During COVID, I found a lot of nursery stock is limited and out of stock. So it's a coordination item that we'll pursue after approval.
Okay. I think that we would like to be notified of that as soon as possible, and certainly within the next 2 weeks as to what your schedule will be.
Yeah, I'll certainly work with that. We have a contractor lined up. It's really about sourcing the materials. The only other concern there is that is a relatively active area for underground utilities. And obviously at DigSafe in New York, we want to make sure that we avoid all potential conflicts with those. So we certainly will want to proceed with caution in that area.
Okay, but I would add to this resolution that the staff of the planning and development will be notified, and the planning board will be notified within 2 weeks of the exact schedule of the plannings.
Okay.
Peter, I'll make the motion.
Okay, second.
I'll second, Steve.
All in favor?
Doug, aye.
Steve, aye.
Nathan, I.
Joe, I.
Kathy,
Peter,
Kathy
aye.
raised her hand, so that's an aye.
Okay. Leif, did you say yes?
He did.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the Brixmore charging stations. We have somebody here for that.
Yes, Julia Ingram and Mercy Gideon are here from Kimley Horn, and we're here to review or to talk about our plans to get approval from the board so we can go towards building permits and electrical permits. This is a project for proposed electric vehicle charging stations with our client, Electrify America. Electrify America has electric vehicle charging stations around the country where you can go and charge your electric vehicle for around like $1 a minute. Depending on how large your battery is, it depends on how long you would say to charge your car. We're proposing this location, and then we also amended our plans to provide the smaller drive aisle width, as well as the planting around the planting around the charging stations, as well around the equipment enclosure, which will match the existing Starbucks dumpster enclosure. At this time, we are hoping to discuss with you if you had any further amendments or changes, or if we can approve our plans.
We were wondering how these are lighted at night.
Yes, they look like this at night. And we're also, I believe, proposing a light pole. I could be wrong, but
I don't understand that lighting. Is the pad lit? Looks like the bollards are lit.
the
I think it's
bollards
probably
are
got a perimeter light, the center light, and then the bollards are lit. Or maybe the bollards aren't lit, they're just reflecting the light off of the...
yes, they're just reflecting the light off of the charger.
So the bollards are not lit?
No.
The only thing that is lit is the hole, the perimeter of the hole?
And around the edges as well.
Around the edges as well?
Yes, around like the perimeter of the charger, there's a light around that as well.
I don't know. In my mind, that's excessive.
There is a way to turn that off as well.
I'd like to have the resolution have that be permanently off, that perimeter lighting.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Well, it's called light pollution, you know? We're so careful about our light fixtures on buildings.
I don't know how
and
much
then
light
we
they
allow
give off,
something like
though.
this.
I mean, how
Sounds
much
like a
light do they
double
give off? I mean,
standard to me.
if we're looking to be a progressive community and highlight electric vehicles, electric charging stations, I mean, this isn't like a giant flashing neon sign that's hung 10 feet in the air. I mean, I don't see a light pollution to it. I think it kind of looks quite contemporary to me. But
Okay.
I don't think we'd want lighting on the traditional gas pumps throughout the town.
These
I
are
would
traditional gas pumps, though.
I would tend to agree not to have them lit this color. They're kind of freestanding in a field. There isn't really an edge boundary like is in this photograph.
And
Can
you're
they-
also going to get some light from the street, from the parking lot lights. They're white and they're tall and they're very conspicuous.
Julia, do you know if this is an all or nothing kind of lighting situation? Could part of it be lit and part of it be turned off?
I'm gonna have to refer that question to my partner, Marissa.
Yeah, I do not think that it is a partial lighting situation, but I can follow up with the manufacturer and see if they can coordinate that.
Okay. As the rest of the people I got, Steve's and Doug, and then Nathan had another perspective. How was Kathy, Joe, and Leif? Can you weigh in on the light, pro or con?
I would rather see it off.
Kathy, you're getting some feedback from something. So, you said you'd rather see it lit.
I like highlighting the fact that they're electric stations. I also like the idea of having it be the ring and not the outside.
Kathy, can you unmute yours, or we're getting a lot of
Every
feedback.
time I unmute it, it doesn't seem to be working, but I'd like to see the lights off.
Off, okay. And that's Nathan. You said you didn't see him on. Leif?
There you go, Peter.
Okay, thank you. Leif, what was your choice?
You're muted, Leif.
There we go. Try that now. I like the idea of actually highlighting these things as a sort of a cutting edge way of where the future's going. I think they're overlit. I like the center core hole being lit. I don't think the edges need to be striped. So I would try and kick this back to the manufacturer and how they put these things together. It can't be that difficult to do.
Okay, I would agree with that. And Joe, I didn't hear your perspective.
I'm on my phone, so I can't see it, so
All
I'll
right,
abstain.
you'll abstain. Okay, so I guess we'd like to send it back. The majority of present from my count to light the station itself and not the surround, and that will be entered into the resolution.
Okay. If we are unable to only light partial, just like the center part of it, would you guys prefer to have the whole thing lit or just nothing lit?
Why don't we cross that bridge when you come to it?
That sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to read this motion, and Jamie, you'll just add what we just said back into it.
Let me, if I can, then just that part, which would be number 5. The lighting is to be on the stations only in the, what do you call it, the middle hole thing?
I just say on the interior.
Yeah.
Interior.
I like the middle hole thing.
Yeah. It's specific.
That's a legal term, and not on the perimeter.
Okay.
And if the manufacturer cannot do that,
Comes back to the planning board
okay, yep, got it.
for a resolution. Motion to approve the plan as presented and dated. What was the date on it? I didn't get the-
Yeah, I'll get the date. I'll get the
Okay.
date from Nick. He's having feedback trouble as well.
Okay. As presented as an amendment to the existing site plan approval for this site with the specific findings and conditions. 1, that the baseline parking count for the property as set forth in the prior set plan approval for the plaza remains intact. This project keeps the number of parking spaces on the site and for the plaza intact, in as much as the parking spaces now delineated for the electric vehicle stations are replacement for some existing parking spaces. 2, with the respect to this plaza, the parking spots at the charging stations and the charging stations are not, in this instance, found to be separate use, but rather the use is complementary to the plaza. It is expected that the parking/charging stations will be utilized by customers otherwise patronizing the plaza retailers. 3, no signage is permitted on the charging stations or adjacent thereto. 4, the decibel level of the charging stations, while all up and running and no later than April 30th, 2020, shall be measured by the, yes?
21.
Yeah, I see that. I should have picked that up, sorry. 2021, should be measured by the applicant with appropriate sound measuring instrument and reported to the Department of Planning and Zoning. If the decibel level exceeds town standards, mitigation will be required. 5, regarding the lighting, as was read by our distinguished council. And 6, accept the specifically modified herein existing site plan approval for the project is not otherwise modified, and approval for this plan and other submitted documents. Site plan documents have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant, and requires that all the works shown be completed by the applicant in order for the certificate of occupancy or compliance be issued. Any proposed changes, additions, or deletions to the scope of work materials for the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to the town of DeWitt Code Section 192-122. That's the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second, Steve.
Okay. All in favor?
Blake, yes.
Nathan, aye.
Kathy, yes.
Joe, I.
Steve, yes.
Peter, aye. All right, carried unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
May I have a motion for adjournment, please?
I will move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Joe, I.
Hands. I see a lot of hands. Okay, yeah. Thank you all. We will, Nick, the notice, I think, just so we can clarify, at present, we don't have a work session for the next meeting.
Peter, that's correct.
Okay, but I suspect there will be. We've got a couple things that Nick, Andy, I, and Jamie have been working on, and I think that you'll see there's quite a bit happening going forward. So thank you.
Peter, can I just say something about Kravick?
Sure.
One of the buildings being featured on the